What is going on, people? How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing well. Listen, if you missed our Joy Reid show, that is on Patreon. If you get a chance, please check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance, please check it out. We have something that we want to talk about, and I don't want to take too much time because people always feel picked on or something. I don't know what gets into the druthers of people. But anyway, fam, listen. I don't know if you heard, but way back when, and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all of that good stuff. If this is your first time here, we're going to keep it kind of easy breezy. There was a whole movement that happened that started with Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell talking about wealth. Then people said, what are you going to do about it? And we started talking about, well, you have to have reparations. That whole movement, people started doing their own thing, which is why we decided that people could no longer do their own thing because the own thing didn't work out. This whole BLM Tea Party thing where we just don't have any kind of guidance or whether it didn't quite work. Anyway, so the people started doing their own thing, but they were chapters of ADOS. So just so everybody can kind of get the sense, even when this was announced, the California Reparations Commission, it was announced as California ADOS. That was even the Twitter account that Shirley Weber used to announce this thing. So, you know, it's very interesting. I see people talking about, oh my God, even though it's all this speculation, Yvette's trying to steal our thing. Yvette's over here causing, I haven't done a thing, but like, let's not forget, like if you want to talk about what was lifted from where, let's not forget where. Let's give everything the backstory of where everything really came from. It came from here. Now, I warned people that you don't have, you know, it's hard to get that anyway. And that's even in terms of what we do as ADOS, I said, you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the people, you don't have the gumption, you don't have the expertise to do this. And everybody said, Yvette, go sit down somewhere. We know what we're doing. Leave us alone and we're going to figure it out. Now, I know from this end that no matter how many people you have and no matter how much expertise you have, it's still going to be very hard. But these people linked up with Mink Slide and others and said they were going to get the job done. Okay, that's how it happened. It stems all from here. Everything was ADOS until it wasn't ADOS, and then they decided that Antonio wasn't going to be on the commission, that it was going to be Camilla, and they took off. They were off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. They were off to the races, and they said, we don't need you. Somebody even told me, yeah, hey, we can take it from here. Okay, but if you tell me that, if that is what you say to me, then I am absolutely going to have to make an assessment about what happened. See, I'm not doing anything mean or anything untoward. If you tell me, hey, we're going to take the information that you took, that you and Antonio came up with, your little, and what you all figured out, and we're going to go with that. If you tell me that, then once you go with that, and it doesn't necessarily work out at all. Worse did not work out if it's a cataclysmic failure. And so much so that the California legislators, the California Black Caucus that you riled up against, started calling names. If it goes so bad that they have to take that up for themselves and they don't even, like, you're not even in the room with them no more because of how you acted out. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm just giving everybody some backstory, because we want to talk about, this is 2020. This is 2020. Yeah, Flex's bank account, and you went over there and kissed the ring, and he gave you his butt to kiss, and I told you. It was bound to happen, ladies and gentlemen. The bill, this is 2020. The bill would also require the task force to recommend the form of compensation that should be awarded, the apparatus through which it should be awarded, and who should be eligible for this compensation. The recommendation must be submitted to the legislature by no later than 2023. American Descendants of Slavery, ADOS, an organization that advocates economic empowerment and reparations for Black Americans, praised the efforts of its organizers, activists, and allies throughout the California state to see this bill through to a successful end. It was always ADOS at the inception. You all sided in a way that you should not have sided, went in a direction that probably wasn't the best. And now it's over for you, not for California. They have picked up the mantle and they're continuing. It is over for you, hopefully. If you haven't learned by this time that this may not be your forte, this is the moment to kind of pick that up, pick yourself up, and figure out what you're good at, because it ain't this. ADOS California comprises chapters in Los Angeles, Sacramento, and the Inland Empire, Fresno, San Diego, and San Francisco Bay Area. Senate passage of AB 3121 brings our great state of California one more step closely to finally confronting its legacy of supporting the institution of slavery, Jim Crow, and ongoing racial exclusion. Chris Logsdon of ADOS said in a written statement, "The fight is not over. We look forward to the opportunity for follow-up in the upcoming legislative session where AB 3121 can be enhanced to ensure it meets this historic moment in our nation's what is that? History." So I just want to point out, in terms of inception, this is where we were, ladies and gentlemen. This won't take a lot to talk about. So it was this whole fight. Now, mind you, it's 2025. When I talk to y'all about time wasted, when I talk to y'all about people who are bastardizing this movement, when I talk to y'all about that, this is what I'm talking about. Instead of fighting white supremacy, you strong-armed it away. Well, we decided we don't want Antonio to do it. That's like, that's very interesting that the franchisee tells the the people that you don't want, what? That's the best backwards thing in the world. But whatever, that's what you wanted. You wanted to do this and you wanted to go it alone, and you thought, I believe, that this was going to be some kind of big payday for you or some kind of big whatever. And then you did it wrong. So what happened, and I'm not even going to pull up the video of them calling, talking to the California Black Caucus the way they were talking to them. And I think, and you see what I have up on the screen right now, reparations bills die on final day of California's legislative session, despite urgent protest. So let me just say, like I said, we don't have to spend a long time on this. This is old news and we have our own business to do. Everything's going, Trump is doing whatever, but I have to talk about it. Fam, listen. You have to have, please hear me when I say this, because some of you all will be doing work in your own communities. You will be doing activism, and people have told you maybe that the only way to do activism or to be successful at activism is to scream, yell, and shout. Now, I think that's what the Democratic Party is also doing a lot of right now. They are screaming, yelling, and shouting. When they're having these protests with 35, 85, 105 people, that's not enough, right? And we said a long time ago, it's hard enough for ADOS to get the groundswell. As a splinter of ADOS, you are not going to have the groundswell. You just don't have it. We tried to say that you just don't have it. It's hard enough if you do have it, but you don't have it. But even if that, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to have something else. If you don't have, no matter who you are going to have an inside and an outside approach. What do you mean, Yvette? Well, if you are chair, this is not 1965. And I will tell you something else. Even if you say, well, the March on Washington, King was there. King was not calling nobody a coon. That was not happening. So even if you're going to say, well, King was over there, he was not doing that. You have to have an inside and outside approach. MLK was not over there with the they were friendly, they talked, but he was not over there saying Black Power when the Panthers first started out. You have to have, if you're going to be the person talking inside, you should not be the person yelling at somebody outside. And I would also argue that none of that yelling was necessary. Listen, I always say this is a marathon, this is not a sprint. You folks who just got involved in activism last week don't get to go and tell the California caucus, California Black Caucus, this has to happen this session. You ain't been working long enough to tell nobody when it's got to happen. You don't have enough people to tell nobody when it's got to happen. You got to go back to the drawing board. And then you say, hey, you know what? We have reached an impasse. There were some internal wranglings that we were not necessarily aware of. We are going to come back to the drawing board. We believe that the California Black Caucus is operating in good faith. Listen, we have been fighting for reparations for generations. We are not going to let one session, we are not going to let one detour get in the way. It doesn't have to happen right now. It is urgent, but we look forward to our opportunity to re-engage this. We have commitments from the California Black Caucus that we will engage this next session, and we look forward to that. That is what you say. You had one time at bat, and then you pulled all over everything. Outside yelling at somebody, calling somebody a name, talking about their enemies of the people because you didn't get your bill this one time. No patience. No inside-outside game. Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of signs and tough talk with nobody backing you up. Listen, if you wanna really get on somebody, and y'all were wrong anyway. Like, it's a lot of stuff I know about what happened about y'all were wrong. You come out here and all this stuff and just be telling all kind of stories. But if I really do believe that these people and this legislature is wrong and they're wrong, I better have 10,000 people outside. I better not be out here just talking to myself. So that's what happened. The whole thing imploded, and then you just throw poison in the water by talking about how people are enemy of the people and calling these people names and yelling at them as they go in the session because your stuff got tabled. Okay, that's not politics. That's stupidity. So we come around to now, and it's just very interesting how we come around. Let me bring this up too, because I just want to show you how this was put out to us in terms of something big is about to happen. CJ, California Republican lawmaker bill, I don't even know how to pronounce this man's last name, and Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, blah, 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 introduced historic bill to establish California American Freedmen Agency. You can read the rest of it yourself. You can read the rest of it yourself. Because I want everybody to understand, and I'm going to leave it up so you can read it. I'm not wasting my time. So this is what we have, ladies and gentlemen. We have a situation where we have a very bad situation. We have a situation where you have ruined remember what I say, one of the reasons people, you're a Democratic shield, Yvette, you're a Democratic shield. One of the reasons people say that is because I say we should hold this party accountable because we're the base of the party. Now, you're not the base of the Democratic Party in California. It's a very diverse place. I mean, talking about ADOS. But you have much more of a chance of moving them in a direction than you do with a Republican. So you put out this press release believing that you're going to have this American Freedmen thing and it's going to be something beneficial. But first of all, this person isn't even going in that direction. They don't believe in cash payments. They don't believe in reparations. They don't believe in any of the stuff that you say you believe in. They don't believe in it. And you're just poking at the very people who you were trying to get to help you. So the question becomes, who is he going to align with? Because nobody in the party believes in most of that stuff unless he has an ulterior motive. Because you don't have any long-standing relationship with this man. He just showed up to one of your meetings wearing a pair of Jordans, and you thought people who wear Jordans must be about something. He showed up with them red, black, and green Jordans on, and y'all was all to be. At least he showed up. At least he came through. Let me show you what he came through to do. So this is an article from Politico. California reparations fight creates strange bedfellows. You bet. GOP Assemblymember Bill Asaley is authoring a reparations-related bill. Yes, you read that correctly. Yes, you read that correctly. The Coalition for Just and Equitable California is teaming up with the Riverside Area Republican on legislation creating a Freedmen Affairs agency to administer reparations programs after a similar bill crashed and burned. But that's not what it's for. Wait till we get to it. On the last night of legislative session in 2024, the group's activists are working with SLA in opposition to the Black Caucus, which is backing a bill from Chair Akilah Weber Pearson to establish the Bureau for Descendants of Slavery in America. Hold on. So the woman who set it up, Shirley Weber, like, isn't Akilah her daughter? Like, do y'all understand how stupid this is? Do y'all understand how stupid this is? You may not be able to do anything anymore. You setting yourself up. You setting the mother set it up, and then you going against the bill that's being backed. This is so dumb. But it ain't gonna take much time. The partnership is very much an example of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. He thought he was in a house of cards, baby. he thought he was on to something. Coalition organizer Chris Loxton said the caucus is shutting his group out of its legislative planning. And sadly, it was the only lawmaker who reached out after organizers visited members' offices earlier this year with their proposal. So you just took the people who took you. You just danced with the one who was dancing with you. Loxton self-identifies as a reparationist on his social media profiles, which are filled with photos of him in shirts emblazoned with cut the CJEC, California Reparations Now. You got to sometimes understand what a news organization is poking fun at you too. Politicos making fun of you. I'm sorry. Essentially, a hardline conservative known for clashes with Democrats on the Assembly floor doesn't back cash payments. Now, listen. I'm not even saying where you have a budget deficit that you're going to get cash payments out of California. Y'all should have never made that have been the thing. We are talking about federal cash payments. That is the thing we're pushing for. Y'all should have never had that be the deal breaker nowhere. But you ran from somebody who said they're not going to do cash payments. I don't want to, and they're not going to put the bill on the floor right now, and we're not going to get in this session. Then you ran on somebody who is opposed to everything you stand for. You did that. But the lawmaker insists his party can support getting resources to disadvantaged communities, in this case, descendants of slavery, whether that's school choice, vouchers, or some sort of investment in opportunities. So hold on a second. Wait 1 second, please. This man said getting y'all to disadvantaged, getting stuff, the resource to disadvantaged communities through investment opportunities and what? School choice vouchers. There's a lot of ideas that I think would align with their goals that Republicans can and should support. Loxton also balked at characterizing Sally's bill as reparations legislation as his group looks at the issue more narrowly. You do a lot of balking. Loxton also, reparations means direct cash payment. He said that is what reparations means to most people. It's only been in these last several years that people inside the Black Caucus and elsewhere also probably means the man you just did this other bill with, have tried to make reparations be other things too, or other things instead of money, and we're not going for that. Oh gosh. Somebody put in the thing California's deficit. Somebody put that in the chat. The coalition's willingness to turn against the Black Caucus originates with members' last-minute decision in 2024 to shelve a Freedmen Affairs Agency bill from the former state Senator Stephen Bradford. Loxton and others filled the Capitol Rotunda on the last night of the session to protest the move. They said members wouldn't advance legislation because Newsom requested amendments turning it into a study. The idea of a study is still a major problem for coalition organizers because they believe it would further perpetuate a long-standing injustice. Here's the thing about it. You just got started. Most of y'all didn't use the word lineage to 2017. You just got started. And you have made an enemy of the entire Black caucus. All because they didn't bring that bill for whatever reason. Do you know that people, do you know how many years, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that the civil rights movement was, people don't realize it was like a decade long. Right? I feel like we started this legit in 2016, and really and truthfully, it is 2025. It's almost a decade of just playing around with knuckleheads. Who thought that like calling people names in the rotunda as they came in, you don't listen. If somebody promised, are you dying tomorrow? Like if somebody promises if somebody says, hey, for reasons that they told you that y'all probably don't want to tell the people, this is not coming to a vote right now. Do you think that the next step for you should be to ruin all of the relationships that it took you so long to build? If it took you a long time to build these relationships with lawmakers, do you believe that your reaction to them deciding that, hey, it's not going to be this, regardless of whatever you've been told, it's not going to be now? Do you believe that your reaction to be ruining all of those relationships and running to a conservative Republican who go and look up his previous bills and saying that like he's going to be my savior, do you think that that is worth it? What kind of political arrangement is that? The first step is to get in the room. You were in the room and then decided to poo on the floor. I don't know. And there's a way to tell people, listen, I disagree, without calling them all out their name and yelling at them. Like that was not the need of things, to show up and yell. But listen, if showing up and yelling is all that you know how to do, then that's all you're going to do. If that's all you have in your political wheelhouse, that's all you have. If that's the only tool you have in your toolbox, then that's the only tool you have in your toolbox. If you don't have a groundswell and there are not enough people supporting, and that's hard no matter what. That's hard no matter what group you are. But if you don't have that, then what are you going to do? But show up and holler. And that's what they did. They showed up and they hollered. And there will be consequences. Right? There will be consequences for just showing up, deciding that I'm finna show up and holler. I think today what I'm gonna do is scream. It was the height of like this kind of political immaturity. And, there was a time, nobody understood what I was doing. And this happened with them. This happened in like late August, early September. In April, I said, hey, Olive Branch, everybody, Olive Branch. Hey, we can work together. If y'all want to do work, you can come over here, whatever. Hey, Olive Branch Extended. That was in April. That was before what happened in August, September. We can still work together. They said, no, you torpedoed the movement. Okay. Because listen, ADOS is working. The chapters are working. This is building. What do we do? I ain't torpedoed nothing. But keep talking. Because I see how this is going to end, because y'all are not mature enough. I saw remember y'all shouted that man down and somebody acted like he was going to hit him when he came to one of y'all's meetings? Just wild, undisciplined. And you wonder why we kick people out and say, yeah, you can't come here with certain kinds of behavior, right? Like you can't be in this space with certain behaviors. Like we don't even let you get in here to have to kick out. You can't come in with certain behaviors. But when I said Olive Branch, you said, oh, no, this is laughable. You torpedo. Well, what did you just torpedo? You just torpedoed your chance. That's what it looks like. I would never speak to you again if you behave like that after one disappointment. I wouldn't. It doesn't matter who caused disappointment. Disappointment's a part of politics. What are you talking about? But you said, again, hey, Yvette, we don't need nothing you got to give. Stay over there. You made mistakes and you done. Okay, I offer $1. Y'all remember the olive branch? Hey, we might want to, hey, if you want to work together, we can do it. Everybody might want to talk, might want to have a conversation. Screw you. All right, it's okay. It's all good. Because sometimes you just might not have discernment, and that's okay. So the man comes out, the Republican, comes out. I'm jumping around a little bit because I don't want to be here too long. He comes out and he says, as a Republican, I wrote AB 1315 to honor American freedmen, descendants of those my party freed from slavery in 1865. Ooh, the way he already talking about you is spicy, like you steal property. This is not about cash reparations. Well, when we get to the federal level, it still is, but reparations is not okay. Whatever. Let's let the white man keep talking. AB 1315 creates a lean agency to verify status and build registry, honoring our history while staying fiscally responsible. After President Lincoln ended slavery, Democrat President Andrew Johnson vetoed legislation to extend the Freedmen's Bureau Act. This is something just, oh gosh, I can't believe. Let me just. My goal is to recognize and empower freedmen with real solutions like school choice, so kids can escape failing schools and opportunity zones to spark. That's what we got into with Mink Slide about the opportunity zone. Well, what y'all mean? I made it. Let me get spark economic growth and investment in their neighborhoods. That's Republican liberty and opportunity, not handouts. The man just called reparations handouts. That's who y'all aligned with. Wait a minute. Y'all got mad with the California Black Caucus because they didn't bring it up for a vote. Good intentions. Stuff happens. It's politics. And some of the stuff that happened was on y'all. You won't tell that. I understand why you won't talk about that in Twitter spaces. I understand why you won't talk about that in a lot of other places. But you don't own it. No, they just got in the way. No. You all you all played a part in that. That's all I will say. Big part. And there's stuff you did not know. Naivete plays a part in that. But you left people who believe in reparations to run into the arms of a man who said the Republican liberty, that's Republican liberty opportunity, not handouts. You ran into the arms of somebody who calls reparations handouts. That's not a win. That's not politics. That's not the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because that's not your friend. The Republican Party ended slavery to give people freedom, not dependence. AB 1315 reflects that, not bloated bureaucracy, no blank checks, a targeted effort to recognize a foundational American community. That's what they did. Understand that. I just want everybody to just understand. That's what they did. That's not a win. In no world, ladies and gentlemen, is that a win. 5 years wasted. And look at them. They was all out there with him, smiling from ear to ear. Smiling from ear to ear with somebody who called your stuff a handout. Is everybody okay? What were y'all smiling with this man for? He was saying all that stuff in the thing. That little white man, oh, he had a time with y'all. He really did. Mind you now, let me just say, this is a masterclass in what not to do and how not to handle things. A masterclass. Let me tell you something else, a masterclass not to do. Stop putting your business out on Twitter all the time with your silly selves. It's a masterclass. I have not heard so many emotional tantrums and foolishness in all of my life. And let me just show you this. So here's the kicker. After y'all have aligned with the white Republican who called your stuff handouts, reparations handouts, we don't need dependents, we don't know a black check. He used every signal he did. He used every word to dog whistle. These Negroes ain't never getting no money. And I'm setting this up to give them real opportunity. in the very conservative Dodge fashion. But listen, the lawmakers in California are still pushing. I like the name, Descendants of Enslaved Americans and that sort of things. I like it. It's moving in a different direction. And they're still pushing. Now, here's the thing. If y'all had not called them names and decided that you want to holler and yell at them and call them an enemy and all this stuff, if you all had just played your position and fixed the aspects you could fix and deal with the rest, you would have been back in the game. But you're not. You're absolutely not. Black lawmakers renew push to assist California descendants of enslaved Americans. Now, I appreciate this because they're going to salvage what they can salvage. Because y'all made a mess and it was embarrassing for everybody. I was embarrassed and I wasn't even there. The California Legislative Black Caucus on Thursday proposed a package of reparations for the descendants of African Americans who were enslaved in the United States. Proposals include preferences for public university admissions and financial assistance for first-time homebuyers. Now listen, this preferences for public admissions is important. Because y'all know in California, Native Americans get preferences. Y'all know in certain places we have preferences, or at least before Trump, for migrants and different things. Why can't we have a preference that's based on harm? There are all kinds of creative ways to get to reparations, but if you don't know, then you don't know. And kudos to them for continuing to do this, even after they worked with a series of activists who just embarrassed them around the country after having that collaboration. Kudos to them for that. The package contains 15 bills in what caucus members said will be a multi-year effort to repair the generational harms and discrimination suffered by the descendants of the enslaved in California. This just gives some of the backstory. In 2020, Governor Gavin Newsom and California lawmakers formed the first of the nation-state task force to study the proposed remedies for the legacy of slavery. During the end of the legislative session last year, reform advocates were frustrated that the legislature, which was limited by a tight state budget and high-stakes election year, passed only 10 or 14 bills prioritized by the Legislative Black Caucus. Wilson also introduced a bill to implement a voluntary work program for prisoners intending to allow inmates to request work assignments, which in turn would make time for classes and other rehabilitative activities. Assemblyman Isaac Bryan, vice chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, authored Assembly Bill 7, which would allow all California universities to consider preferential admissions for descendants of enslaved African Americans. That is, like I said, that's a big deal. Because we've always said that. Why can't we have it? Like if we have legacy, we have all this kind of stuff. He says, and this is what Brian said. We talk about legacy all the time. Legacies of privilege have been rewarded if you're the relative of a donor or someone previously admitted to one of these universities. You often have an admissions advantage, Brian said. But we never talk about the legacies of harm, legacy of slavery, legacy of exclusion. Instead of making a mess, there was still work to be done. There was still work to be done. And here's what Isaac Bryan had to say about the activists who he had worked with. Black Caucus Vice Chair Isaac Bryan called the coalition's bill, talking about that Republican bill, a very unserious move by a very unserious legislator and unserious small group of organizers. Ooh, my goodness. He's talking about y'all, C-Jack and Nasty and all y'all. He said a very unserious move by a very unserious legislator and a very small group. I think I'm jumping to the political article, but listen, working with a literal Republican prosecutor who has a stack of bills and a history of pushing back against all efforts to address harms to Black people in the criminal legal system is a very unserious effort. Bryan also claimed some members of the coalition are affiliated with MAGA. Logson said his group isn't political. You gotta know. Biography is everything. He said that's an unserious bill by an unserious group of organizers. Ooh. Once they decide that you're unserious, I don't know. I don't know where it goes for you. I can't see no going nowhere but down. Y'all decided we're gonna get something out of this. The one thing you can't ever do, and I don't care what it is, but it's especially in politics. I feel like it's in sports too. You can't ever get desperate. You can't ever just get desperate. I'm gonna get a win out of this. I'm leaving with something. You ever seen that Denzel meme where he's talking to Jay? I'm leaving here with something. You can't do that. You can't say you're leaving with nothing. You can't, like, if it doesn't work, it's back to the drawing board. Respectfully, especially if you look at what this Republican, if you look at what some of the stuff that he's done in the past, you should know that this is probably somebody that you shouldn't align yourself with. I'm not saying that you could never, ever in life align with a Republican. Y'all know I'm agenda driven, but like you can't ice out everybody else. He doesn't have a coalition of people he has willing to work with you on anything. He's trying to funnel y'all into the voucher movement. He's trying to funnel you into the opportunity zone movement. That's what he's doing. This is not a harm-based anything. On the other side, you have the Black Caucus who has come back with some bills that could be really helpful in terms of what your goals are. But you've already made such a mess in terms of relationships. Who knows what that looks like now? Woo. Who knows? Just standing there all teeth with that man who got a whole history of being oppositional to what you want. Yes, politics can make strange bedfellows, but you can't go into this thinking that like you can just side with somebody. It has to make sense. It has to make sense. I don't see a situation where this makes sense at all. Not in terms of alienating who you alienate, and not in terms of siding with who you sided with. This don't make sense at all. It seems to me, and I'm gonna leave it right here, and y'all can, and I'll let it go to the phones if you wanted to. But it seems to me that there are people who just wanted the opportunity, to get some camera action and say we did something. And I will say that is unfortunate. That's all I can say about that. But that is unfortunate. But anyway, fam, I like I said, I wasn't gonna take much of your time today. Give me a second. I'll set up the phones, and if you want to, we can have the conversation about how this all ended. I know it's overshadowed by this whole Elon taking over the government. But just wanted to come in and bring it to your attention. Be right back. All right, fam. All right. We are back. I'm going to take a couple calls. And like I said, it'll be a early night. If y'all want to join us on Patreon, it's patreon.com/ycarnell. If you are not over there, we will be over there Friday afternoon. It's Monday night, then Wednesday here on YouTube, then Friday on Patreon. We do have another book club, book 2. I just have not announced it on YouTube because the show is on Patreon. But anyway, let me go to 914. 914, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm just calling to find out how do these individuals end up getting in the rooms?
Well, we got into the room and then they said they were us. So that's kind of how it happened. Okay. Like ADOS got into the room and then they said we're ADOS representative, which they were at the time. And then they said, no, we're a different thing. And so they're in the room.
Okay. So what does it take to get someone like yourself in the room?
Well, Antonio was in the room until Antonio was initially the chair of the California Reparations Task Force. And then they wrote a letter saying, we, the chapters of California, don't want Antonio Moore anymore. So that's kind of like these people got us out of the room, right? That's what happened. And so that's why I really want them to own what happened here, because this is their failure. Like we were in the room. Like Antonio called in. He had everybody call in to get this started. So even like the person who decided to start it got the information from his show and then said, hey, I was inspired by your show to do it. That's what got it started. Then Antonio said, everybody call in. They're going to have a call in session, decide whether or not they're going to do this commission. Everybody called in. All ADOS called in. And then once they got over there, they said, hey, it's a bait and switch. We don't want Antonio. We're here in California. We don't want Antonio Moore here anymore. We want Camilla to be the head. And so that's how that happened. And that's how the whole bait and switch happened. And so here we are.
Wow. That's terrible, man. It seems like, you get so close and then they snatch the tablecloth off the table.
Yeah.
I just hope you guys, I hope somehow you guys can, get back that moment and get in there and give all this vast knowledge you guys have on this whole reparations thing, because I think you would represent yourselves the best rather than have others intervene or be middlemen.
Hey, your mouth to God's ears, child.
All right. You have a good night.
You appreciate you. I told some people at the start of the show that we've already. I saw people speculating on the thing. Oh my God, Yvette is trying to co-opt us or something, and it's just kind of like, hold on a second. First of all, what? And second of all, like, have you all in your minds made it up to where you all created this moment and you all co-founded or founded this movement? Like how? I don't even understand that. Let me go to another caller real quick. 301, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, good evening, Vet. This is O calling out of PG County, Maryland.
Oh, what's up, O? What's up, O? Y'all scared yet? Y'all scared yet over there? You better be. You should be.
At all.
Your neighbors should be. Somebody should be scared.
I tell you, you know what? It was such an honor and it was such a privilege to see you last Saturday here in Greenbelt, Maryland.
Hey!
You was looking good from head to toe, came out looking like something as always.
I try not to embarrass y'all. That's all I say.
Okay. Even had a beat face.
Little light beat like the kids say.
But I wanted to share with the greater audience something that I shared with you at the conference that is so apropos to really the essence of the ADOS movement. Where we were in Greenbelt was what they consider old Greenbelt. That library we were in, that's old Greenbelt. That's the historic district of Greenbelt. I want everybody to look up Greenbelt, Maryland. It's one word.
Mm-hmm.
That was America's very first all-white planned community of the New Deal.
Mm.
They created an entire zip code all for white people. Single-family homes, townhomes, and apartment co-ops. And it had all the best amenities. Public pools, tennis courts, library, a shopping district, a movie theater, the works. The second one was, I believe it's called Greendale, Wisconsin, and I want to say Greenville, Ohio. So, all around you, we are not only surrounded by wealth, opportunity that lifted generations of white people out of poverty, but then we're also surrounded by where the federal government, the local government came and destroyed black neighborhoods. Less than a 10-minute drive, about a 10-minute drive from where we were in Greenbelt.
Mm-hmm.
I want everybody to look this up as well. A neighborhood called Lakeland, one word, Lakeland College Park, Maryland, or you can just search Lakeland, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
It was a thriving black community in College Park, Maryland, full of ADOS people who were mostly, well, not mostly, but a lot of them were workers at the University of Maryland. It was a thriving, bustling neighborhood. Churches, businesses, even had a little juke joint, had everything. Urban renewal was famous for coming into such black neighborhoods, convincing these black people to give up their homes because urban renewal was going to come in, not only give them better homes, but create neighborhoods like they was given to white people.
Mm.
And of course, none of that came into fruition. Their homes would be literally bulldozed. And I can show you places in Maryland and PG County and in D.C. where that happened. And there's still vacant lots.
Mm.
And so, I left that meeting so encouraged and not hopeful, but confirmation that reparations is going to happen. It may not be something that we see in our lifetime. I hope it is. I pray it is. But I just want everybody to be very much encouraged in this fight.
Mm.
People are going to be very angry with you. I've had people these last few days since I've been there, really want to try to hit below the belt and get personal when you bring this up. Because, see, what this exposes is their failures, what they don't have.
That's true. That's
People
true.
will try to drop, I got a master's degree, how you gonna tell me, but less than 5 minutes later, you're telling me how you're being priced out of every decent neighborhood in the zip code.
Oh, you're asking me for $200? So I agree, and I totally agree with you, because it's just like you will say that, and I think we hit people internally and they just defend it. They just no, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's not me. I got money. I got, and it's just like no, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, and when you try to simply talk politics, talk legislation, talk history, what happened. People will agree with, this happened, redlining happened, not being able to get the World War II VA loans. All of that they will agree with because you can't deny it. But then when you talk about redress on a legal basis, I don't want no handout. So long story short, I just want everybody on the ground to continue having these hard conversations with people, because a whole generation of black people in PG County just found out the hard way. And
you're exactly right. But I want to also shout out everybody who came out and shout out ADOS Maryland, and shout out everybody came out to the event on Saturday. That was a great event. Shout out to the leadership in Maryland for that event. I shouted them out Monday too, and shout out to ADOS Atlanta as well, because that was on Saturday. On Sunday I was back in Atlanta for an event, and I meant to bring the list of sponsors, co-sponsors from that event. They were great hosts, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak there as well. But I thank y'all because I think you the only person I know that can spot somebody's whole outfit and where it come from with one glance. So shout out to you.
Yo, I know Todd Snyder and Mayville when I see it. Okay, we shop at the same places.
He was like, what? Like, dang.
You have a good one.
You
God
do
bless
too.
You. I love you.
Love you back, fam. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Have a good one now. Yeah, and like I said, fam, I'm not gonna keep everybody long today. It's gonna be a quick one today, like I said. So I'm not gonna, if you're on the call list, I'm not gonna go to a bunch of calls today. But I just had to come in and say that real quick. And shout out to y'all again. Shout out to those in Adolph, Maryland. That was, it was wonderful. And we're gonna have many more events. And I appreciate the people who came to that event and come to all the events that we've been having, these sessions we've been having, who come and they're not a member of Adolph and they come just to ask questions, and shout out to the people, resource development. Shout out to Tony, who's a chapter leader out there in Maryland. Shout out to everybody who has been a part of this, putting this together. I don't put these things together. And it's funny. It's always funny to me because people, you bet micromanages this. I don't micromanage anything. Like I don't. And so, but they have been great in terms of getting people to come out, and they may have heard about us and they get to see us in person, and we go back and forth about what they can do, what we can do, why it's necessary. And I'm a big believer in fellowship. I'm a big believer that we are community, and community, we come together, we eat together, we laugh together, we talk together, and we do politics together. And that's why what just happened in California and how it happened was so disappointing to me. And just the whole move. So it's just, I don't micromanage. I don't. If people can do what they do, let them do it. Check in. How's it going? You don't have to do that, especially not with passionate people. And for a lot of people, since nobody gets paid from this, including myself, this is a passion. We're passionate about justice for our people. That's it. So, I appreciate everybody who came out. I'm not going to keep y'all long. Now, I know we normally go for 2 hours. We normally go for 2 hours on Monday night, but we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna go to one more caller. 601. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
I'm a big believer that we are.
Hey, turn down your background, fam. Turn down your background, fam. They can.
Okay. What about now? Can you hear me?
I can still hear me, so turn down me in your background.
Okay. What about now?
Just turn it off. Just mute it. Just mute the whole thing.
Okay.
Now what's up, fam? Because we about to get out of here.
Yeah, hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, I'm good. This brother said again. I love what you do. I just want to tell you, keep up the good work, and we love you down here in the South.
Appreciate you. Well, that's where I'm from, so hopefully you do.
America has the money to pay, to restore, our community. They have it. If you look at the national budget, where the most of it goes to defense spending.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. We would spend trillions, to protect my freedom, but won't spend crumbs to improve my quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but anyway, just keep up the good work.
Appreciate it, fam.
We got your back. We love you. We love what you do.
I thank you. One southerner to another, I thanks you. Have a good one, fam. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Do. All right, fam. But yeah, so anyway, for those of you out on Patreon, I will see y'all on Friday. Everybody else, please keep it easy breezy. Don't bother nobody. And please don't let nobody bother you. That is unseemly. And I will see y'all next time. We'll be talking about what Trump and them did. I know they had a whole press conference today, and Elon was just there like somebody elected him or something. But anyway, that's another conversation, all right? Y'all keep it easy.